Hello traders, welcome to another daily analysis. Today is November 8th, Tuesday, and just let's get into it. Of course, the biggest event today is the US election itself, and as mentioned, all the fundamental data or sentimental news are not important or have enough impact at this point. The whole financial market is paying attention to the election. So really nothing much to to go over with actually. The WTI is indecisive today, and then also the equity market were all green as mentioned before, that the market has already priced in the win for Hillary Clinton. But as mentioned, in these kind of events, really no one knows what the result is. And so, really trade carefully and don't jump in unless you have some certainty of probability. So let's just get into a chart first, and I'll go over a few websites. Maybe you can take a look at the election result live. So right now you can say that the currency are all really react as what they're supposed to be, and because this kind of heightened events, really all traders are really pretty much doing the same action. So how can you make money in this kind of events? As mentioned, that you really need a surprise. So back at the beginning of this year, people made a lot of money during the break exit is because they were going against the crowd. So everybody thought Britain is going to remain, and they left. And that's where the money is to be made. So tonight, same thing. Just looking at the financial market, just looking at the currency pair and equity market, you already know that pretty much the market has priced in for a win for Hillary Clinton. So the money is going to be made if she loses. Now, that's definitely nothing to do with my personal political situation. Frankly, I don't even care, to be honest with you. But I'm just saying that where the money is to be made is if Donald Trump wins. You see, like that, people already predict what happens if it's electrical, if it's a tie, or what if Donald Trump pull this off? You can take a look at all these articles. They're pretty good, actually, and then the trade ideas. This is just, again, don't think people here are expert. Okay, I'm not saying they are bad. They're very good. They're very good analysis. And they all have very sounding idea. But I'm just saying that no one knows what's going to happen. So don't follow anyone blindly, including myself. Don't follow me at all. Just use your common sense in these kind of events. So pretty much nowadays, all the news media are fairly quickly. Nobody has a better age than anybody. You go to CNN, you go to Bloomberg, even go to BBC, you go to Guardian. It's all the same thing. But of course, if you're looking at a satellite, it's gonna be faster than the text, right? Because Forex Live is a text-based. They have to write an article to update it. Of course, you can use Twitter. Twitter is very fast too. And then basically that's it. That's only if you want to trade with the events, and that's only if we have a surprise result, which is a win for Donald Trump. Again, it's not my political situation. I don't think whether who wins, it's gonna be a surprise. I'm basically saying that that's why the market basically pricing a win for Hillary Clinton. So you can make money if it's a win for Donald Trump. So which pair do you choose? Of course, you're going to sell US dollar in these kind of events. And then the best pair, you can just pick dollar yen. Usually dollar yen, and that's especially mentioned, like look at dollar yen right now. You're actually at this you're actually at this resistance area. So dollar yen will be a good pair to pick, when the result comes back, if it's a win for Donald Trump, or if it looks like Hillary, or it looks like they're going tie, right? Those are all very positive news for Donald Trump, negative news for US dollar. So dollar yen, you can short it. You can also, of course, pick dollar Swiss franc. But as mentioned, that because Swiss franc has a lot of intervention from SMB, so try to stay away from it, personally. And also dollar yen, you have a lot of volatility, a lot of intraday movement, which is where you can really make some good pips. So dollar yen would be something I personally would pick as my go-to pair. And of course, Aussie yen will be another good pair, just because we have this two large update today and yesterday. So if it falls, it's gonna fall. You have more rooms to fall down, basically. Hello traders, this is a live update of the US election. Right now it's still November 8th. We are at 11 o'clock, 11:10 Eastern Standard Time. I've been following election and I actually took a trade, and again it was not planned but basic on the sentiment and the early poll and early result from Florida. So I actually got in at very early age at 104.88, just slightly below 105 handle. I got in, really nothing particular in the technical sense. I just got in a wrong number and give myself 100 pips of stop loss, and I don't know how long it's gonna go. I'm just perfectly fine to get stop out. It's just like I say, trading sentiment, you always have to be fine with the result because really have no say. And basically, the only reason is that I have better risk reward ratio, and because like I said, the market is already pricing for Hillary Clinton. So if the result is a surprise, then we have more room downside, and that's exactly what's happening now. So it's exactly like break exit all over again, and that's what I did back in the in early June, and when I trade the break exit. But I was not that experienced to trading this kind of events. So of course, you learn through experiences. And these times were much better. So as you can see, I have dollar yen hourly chart, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, and basically just give myself a better timing. But the money is really to be made. I mean, you can of course trade in many different ways. A lot of people scalp here and there. I actually don't like to do it. I like to just get in once and have a larger stop loss, and then just tighten it up. So I'm already making my risk reward 1% already. So now I'm just letting run and setting my stop loss already at break even plus 100 pips. So I got in at 104.88. And now break even at 103.88, and another one at 102.88. And profit target is really, I don't have any profit target. I know at 100 it's gonna be a very significant support, and who knows, the Bank of Japan might intervene. And also we don't know the result yet, so of course I'm going to tighten, keep following up. It's still early to say, but it's definitely a very good momentum for Donald Trump, and very negative sentiment for US dollar. As you can see, Aussie Young, huge drop, Euro dollar, huge upside, and dollar Mexican peso, huge upside. And if you look at all the future markets, same thing. So basically that's how you trade into the sentiment events. The key is really only trade when there is a surprise. So really, you have to be a contrarian trading this kind of events. You really want to go against the market per se, but because you are against the market, so you have to have a sounding stop loss, and you also have to be very willing to take a loss and understand that you are in this just to scalp a few dollars. Of course, you can hold it, but it's really dependent on case by case. But just let you know, that's how I trade into these risk events. As you can see. With my screen right now, I have about this is 50k, like half lot. I still have half lot running in this chart, 103.88, 102.88, and my profit is at 90. But honestly, I'm probably not gonna run that low. That's just a point for me to get out. Just to prevent any downside. The reason I set it such a far away target is just because last time, remember in British, in cable, there was a huge 10% drop in one day due to flash trading, things like that. So, always leave a larger gap in the profit target. It's just a way to, because you can always be more relaxed in terms of your profit. At least for me, that's how I trade. I'm always more relaxed in terms of my profit. I'm always more nervous about my stop loss. Of course, my number one goal is always to prevent risk, prevent loss. So, hello traders, welcome to another daily analysis. Today is November 9th. Right now it's just 15 minutes past 5:15 Eastern Standard Time. So of course the biggest events last night was the US election, and of course this result was a surprise for the market and many traders. And as many of you know, that I did took a trade during the election. And so let me get into that first, and then we can go over our daily analysis, regular daily analysis later on. So as mentioned previously, I finally decide to took dollar yen at around I think just right around 6:30 or 7 p.m. around the time that when the Florida the result came out. It's not a result yet. It's just we start showing strength into Donald Trump, and that's when I know that okay, now it's a good momentum to take the trade. But let's take a look at how I actually trade. So I actually trade again with hourly chart, with a 30-minute and a 5-minute. So that's really how I trade actually. So I'm gonna change it to 30-minute and then change it to 5 minutes. So first of all, you can see that we have a completely reversal. So basically, everything that was a downfall during the result of election has completely been erased. And of course, today, the equity market, also both the equity market and the WTI all closed green. So it was a way much better sentiment in comparison with Brexit. As many of you still remember, right after the Brexit, there was really a huge negativity into the British pound and continue to be like that for many, many weeks to come. If you look at cable, right after the Brexit, we never really have any recovery. This is the Brexit candle, and then you actually have further downside. On the contrary, if you look at dollar yen, you actually have a very strong bullish signal today. So, all this, of course, now you're looking back, you know that yes, Donald Trump did have a pretty neutral sort of positive speech at last night, and now the market actually react positively for his wins. I understand there's a lot of sentiment and panic going through the market or the world right now, but the reality is that the market actually in favor and not that much panicking over his winning. So of course we're gonna see what happened in the following weeks. He's going to choose his cabinet, and that might change. He's going to meet with Obama. He's going to have a lot of speeches and comments. That might change the sentiment. But just to show you exactly, just the same lesson. Like when you see this kind of drop momentum, basically just looking at the candlestick itself, you already know that, hey, the sellers are losing power. And that's my meet video that mentioned previously, that there's a lot of momentum going against this trade. First of all is that Bank of Japan has already prepared to intervene. They actually called an emergency meeting at 6 a.m. At the Tokyo time, prior to the election results, 6 a.m. London time. So they actually call an emergency meeting, and a lot of central banks are all prepared for this kind of events, because right after Brexit, actually right after many events like SMB, central banks has adopted and become very efficient in terms of risk management. So they already gathered together to see that if people continue to buy Japanese yen, they are going to intervene. And then of course you have that, and also as mentioned, the action or the profit is always going to be made during the result, not after the result. That means that the money is only going to be made when there is still uncertainty. You gotta understand that the market is driven by emotions of traders. So if we already knew the result, if the result has come out, there is no money to be made. Like I keep mentioning, you only trade when there is surprise. So like I mentioned previously, I got in around 104.88 at this level. Basically, I got in at, let me delete all this so you're going to see more clearly. So basically, I got in at 104.88. Around here. That's right after the first result of the strength into the Florida. And of course, actually I got drawdown all the way till 105.47, just shy away from 50. So I actually got 50, 60 pips of drawdown. And in this kind of events, like I said, you have to be really prepared to lose, because no one knows what the result is going to be. And then what happened afterwards is that, of course, we have more and more result coming out and in favor of Donald Trump. So the thing just keep dropping. I think I took my first profit at around 103.88. I have to go back to take a look, but I think my first profit was around 103.88, around here. And my second profit target was actually, I just let it stop out. So my second profit target, I actually just keep tightening up my stop loss all the way to 102.25. Now, why do I choose this level? Well, you have to go to a more shortened time frame. So we had another large drop at 11:30, but at 11:30 or near midnight, basically the result has already been like the decision has already been made. Basically, at 11:30, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, it's actually a win for Donald Trump at that time. And then also, like I said, there was an emergency meeting by the Bank of Japan. So at that time, I start tightening my stop because I start just to prevent this kind of reaction. Of course, I don't know what's gonna happen. Anything can happen from that point. I might get stop out and the things keep dropping. I might never get stop out and just keep dropping. Or I might get stop out and it's actually a good thing because it went completely opposite to my direction. So if I hadn't got tightened my stop loss, I would actually given back all my profit. So and that's 30 minutes. If you look at 5 minutes, then from last night 25, we just go. You see, that's how the market always function. It's always going to go down, go up, go down, go up. It's never gonna be a straight line. So this is, if you're looking at this swing high, this is really your first good stop loss point. When it goes down, goes up, this is a stop loss point, this is a stop loss point, and this 102.50 is a stop loss point. And then we have a range bound here, and like I mentioned, 11:30 around that time, we goes down another time. So I tighten my stop loss here, 102.25, between 2025. Of course, realistically, you might say, like, why didn't I take profit? Of course, like I say, no one knows what's going to happen. I have my target aiming at 100 handle because that's a very significant support for dollar yen, and that's where the Japanese Bank of Japan is always constantly looking at. So if you go back to daily chart, take a look at daily chart, you'll know that excuse me, you'll know that $100 handle right here, it's quite significant. Look at that. We never really be able to close below 100. So we have a brief penetration from 100, and that was because of the break exit. So the lowest we ever went is 99, and then all this time we never really be able to close below 100. So of course I have my target aiming at that, but of course, just looking at that, the lowest we actually went for this election is 101.20. So, and this is actually a very surprise move. I mean, nobody knows that the market will actually rebound so quickly, And then the third reason I got out is because the future market has already limited down. So, although the equity market was closed during the election result, the future market, index future, is still open. So you can tell basically on how the market is going to react very clearly by looking at the futures market, because just by the word, it's a futures market, people are buying that in for the future. So futures market was limited down for index. So that's that's all those things just telling me that, hey, maybe there isn't enough room to go downside anymore. But because I don't know, so I just tighten up my stop loss. And of course, it was a pretty good trade for me. Personally, I risked very little money and made quite good percentage back. Nothing significant, but for me it's just a very good learning experience, because I had witnessed exactly same thing in June actually during the break exit, and now the same thing all over again. So let's say for this trade into the risk event, so exactly what can you learn from it? I mean, I actually write down just a brief 3 points I think you can really learn from it right here. So first thing is that you have to believe yourself. But the most important thing, understand that this is a game of probability. It's just like life, right? There's no one can predict the future, but you can always prepare for it. So as mentioned, the market has been pricing for a win for Hillary Clinton. And the world has already celebrated that, like if she has already won, right? People, if you're looking at today the social media, all this comment like, "Oh, I can't believe it. This is crazy." I just don't really. Again, I have no political stance in these circumstances. But what's so hard to understand that things outside your control or probability will always happen in life. The thing is that you gotta understand, no one knows the future. So all this confident gap up, keep buying into the dollar strength was a gambling basically, because people are saying, "Oh, we are going to buy US dollar because Hillary Clinton is going to win." But what kind of evidence do you have? And people say, "Oh, the poll at the last day prior to the election was at 3% margin." And if you know that, that means that it's very much into a tie. On top of that, you have a lot of statisticians, and you have a famous professor actually coming out from his statistic model, mathematic model, as I mentioned last night, saying that it might very well be a win for a Republican Party. And that was exactly the result. So a lot of people don't have enough conviction. They thought maybe there's going to be a different winner, but they don't have enough conviction. And mainly because people somehow think that other people have a crystal ball for the future. So we somehow get lost into all the media sensation, or all the experts comment and believe that somebody else knows more than us. But the truth is, you have to understand, no one knows what's going to happen in the future. So that's the first thing that I think very important to learn. And the second thing is that the best way to predict the future is to make it. What does that mean is that, I understand there's a lot of emotion going on right now because a lot of people are in favor of certain candidate, and the candidate did not win and things like that. But you gotta understand, doesn't matter who wins this election, is that no one is gonna change your future but yourself. So instead of looking at the election and cheering, getting nervous for someone else, you can actually learn how to make money in this kind of event, right? That's really the best way to predict your own future and make the best outcome of it, because whoever gets elected is not going to change your future. So what you can do is actually take advantage in this kind of events and try to make some money out of it. And as I mentioned yesterday, this kind of events, yes, it does not happen that often, but it does happen all the time. Which comes down to my third point is study history. Why? Is a lot of young people in this generation, don't really have any enthusiasm toward history. But you gotta understand, history always repeats itself. So the funny thing about this is that they got this movement, and I'm just giving you something to compare. Okay, just give you something. I give you a 1 hour hourly candle. Look at British pound versus US dollar at June, when we have the Brexit referendum. And then the funny thing is, just look at how similar these two events tying together. Right, just give me 1 second. June 24th. Okay, right here. So look at that. Look at this two chart. Okay, that's June 23 and 24. So look at this two chart. Okay, it's not exactly the same, but look at that. You got a buying power. You have buying power into a British pound because people think Britain is going to remain in Eurozone, and then there's a surprise, you have a huge drop. And the same thing as here, you have a buying power into the US dollar because people think Hillary Clinton is going to win, and you have a large drop because it's a surprise. And guys, I'm not even talking about ancient history. This is June. This is just less than 6 months ago. And yet, people and market and traders has already forgotten it. And today I read the news, people saying, how come the poll is not accurate? And they said exactly same thing in June. So you gotta understand that's the importance of studying history, because history like this always repeat itself. If you're looking at people like, oh, how can it be Donald Trump? Well, people said the same thing in 2004 when George W. Bush was reelected. People say the same thing for Barack Obama. People say the same thing for John F. Kennedy, for Bill Clinton. And that's just in US alone. People say the same thing ancient day in Roman Empire. People say the same thing, in terms of World War I, World War II. Guys, if you study history, then really the only thing I can leave you is that there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, understand that people are the creature of habit, and we're driven by our emotions. So whenever there is uncertainty in the world and the market, you can very much predict the same pattern and habit of human beings. And really just looking at that, June 23rd, November 8th and 9th, is just crazy. Such a short period of time, and yet, it's exactly same pattern of human behavior. So anyway, I hope you learned from it. Definitely don't think, oh, I missed it, because I'm telling you this kind of events again. Yes, in terms of in terms of the depth, yeah, it's not gonna be, not all events are gonna react like this, but you have a lot of this kind of events all the time. I mean, my friend Andy, he made way over $1 million during the 2011 Greek debt crisis, and that was the same thing. People were like, "Oh my God, the world is coming to the end," and they, make the future for your own. Because whenever there's a panic in the market, 2008, 2009, there's always money to be made. So instead of crying over who gets elected, really learn how to make a better future of yourself. Okay, if you have any question in terms of this, feel free to comment below or let me know. Other than that, I am going to go through today's daily analysis. Okay.